I think this trade is also going to impact the power dynamic within the NBA. And as we know right now, the NBA is a player-driven league. The players have the power, they call basically all of the shots, and they get what they want. I think that could change here. I think teams in general will start to gain some power back if, a big if here, but if the Portland Trail Blazers do what's best for them instead of what's best for Dame and trade him to a team not named the Miami Heat. If Portland takes back and kind of does what they want to do and say, you know what, we got to serve ourselves here instead of serving Dame, I think we're going to see, again, a little shift. Not that now the scales tip all the way in favor of the teams and it's a team-run league like the NFL and other leagues. It's still going to be a player-driven league, but I think you will see teams take a little bit of power back depending on what Portland does and where they trade Dame to. Because you see reports, you see how right now Damian Lillard's camp is operating. They are doing anything and everything possible to go to one destination, the Miami Heat. And they're getting to the point. Listen to this from Woj, who broke this earlier today. He's reported that Damian Lillard's agent, his name is Aaron Goodwin, he is calling prospective trade partners and warning against trading for his client. Think about that. Dame's agent is telling organizations outside of Miami that if you trade for Lillard, you are trading for an unhappy player. So I can only assume he's calling Daryl Morey of the Sixers. He's calling Brad Stevens with the Celtics. He's calling Sean Marks with the Nets. He's probably calling right to the source and going to Steve Ballmer with the Clippers as well. Anyone not named Miami. Right now, Dame is basically on the offensive and saying, don't trade for me, I won't be happy. If Portland says, screw that, we're sending you to Boston, have fun, you will see teams slowly claw back some power within the NBA and slowly start to gain some footing and not have it be a totally player-driven league. That's why I think this trade is and Dame's future is so important, not just for him, but for now how teams operate. Because let's also not forget, sports, in really any league, it's a copycat system. If we see one player do something, other players will do it. LeBron James leaving now, all of a sudden now free agency and being traded, kind of forcing their way out, becomes more in vogue. Certain teams run a certain offense, other teams copy it. If the Blazers kind of set a precedent of, Dame wants to go to Miami, and he's threatening to go to Miami, and he says, I'm not going to play anywhere else but Miami, and Portland says, okay, have fun in Philly, have fun in Boston, that's where we're sending you, and we're calling you on your bluff, I think a lot more teams will start to do that. I'll give the NFL credit. They are the kings in terms of the teams, the front offices. They are the kings at calling players out on their bluffs. Oh, you won't play? All right, let's prove it. Sit out. You want to be traded? All right, let's see it. What else are you going to do? The NFL pushes players and forces their hand more than any other league. And more times than not, the team wins. The player caves. They don't want to sit out of training camp. They don't want to sit out and miss games. They don't want to miss an entire season. And so they'll come back on the team's terms and usually play by their rules. The NBA is the league especially where they call out players the least. They never challenge players to kind of show their bluff. If Dame really says he's unhappy in Philly, prove it. If I'm Portland, that's what I'm saying. If I'm the Sixers even on the other side, if I'm a team right now, if I'm a prospective team, Sixers, Celtics, Nets, Clippers, anyone else who wants to get in the mix here, I'm challenging Dame and I'm calling him out on his bluff. You won't be happy here? Prove it. I want to see it. I don't believe you. If you're Daryl Morey, and all of a sudden you're trying to make a trade and Dame says, don't trade for me. I'm not going to be happy in Philly, I can promise you that. I will say, I don't believe you. I want to see from my own eyes. I'm trading for you. I'm going for it. Because there's really nothing Dame can do. He's got no leverage. He can't go anywhere. He can't force his hand to go to one specific team. The only leverage he has is sitting out. That's all he can do. He is under contract for 3 more seasons. Is he going to sit out for 3 more years? And then at age 36, he'll finally have a player option, opt out of that, and now look to go win his first ring and go to a contender? Good luck. Good luck, man, trying to get that accomplished when you've been out of the league for 3 years. He's not going to sit out. He's not going to be unhappy if he goes to Philly or Boston or Brooklyn or LA or another team that's a contender. He's going to be just fine. And if I'm a team and I'm one of the, their decision makers and I get a call from Aaron Goodwin, Dame's agent saying, hey, don't trade for Dame. Don't trade for Dame. He's going to be unhappy. I would say BS. Let's play a little game. Let's play a little roll call here. We'll make Aaron Goodwin, so he's kind of like Darth Vader. We'll make him the deeper voice here, and I'll pretend to be Daryl Morey, Sixers GM as well, in my normal, some would say high-pitched, talking voice. All right, so I'm Aaron Goodwin. I'm calling to deliver the bad news to Daryl Morey. My client is not interested. Ring, ring. Hello, Daryl. This is Damian Lillard's agent, Aaron Goodwin. How are you? Oh, hey, good to talk to you. I was just going to make a call. How you doing, man? Well, I'm doing not well, Daryl. Damian does not want to play for the Philadelphia 76ers. He wants to only go to the Miami Heat. So sorry, don't you dare try to trade for him. Oh, really? That's interesting. So my question is, what is Damian Lillard's main motivation in wanting a trade out of Portland? Well, Daryl, it's been well documented. He wants to win a championship. He wants to go to a place where he can really compete and contend for his first ring. Interesting. So would you say, Aaron, in your agent perspective, that playing with the reigning league MVP and playing under a head coach that recently won a title in Nick Nurse, wouldn't you say you have as good a chance as any to win a championship right now in Philly this upcoming year? Well, Daryl, you make a good point. But sorry, Dame doesn't want to go there. He wants to go to Miami and Miami only. Okay, well, what if I make a trade that's better than Miami, and what if Portland accepts? What is your client prepared to do? Well, he's going to be unhappy. He's going to throw a little hissy fit. He may come in the first day with a frown. Okay, well, that's something I would like to see for myself. Hangs up the phone. Click. That's it. Dame can't do anything. He can't do anything. If he's going to be unhappy, okay, fine. Wouldn't be the first superstar that's a little unhappy. Mopes the first day he's there. And then guess what? I guarantee as soon as he starts playing with Joel Embiid, if it's in Philly, or he pairs up with Jason Tatum in Boston, or plays next to his guy, in his words, he said his guy, Mikal Bridges in Brooklyn, I don't think Dame's going to have a very bad time and or be too unhappy for very long. I would call him on his bluff if I'm any team right now interested in trading for Damian Lillard. I don't believe he's going to be that unhappy, and there's also nothing he can actually do. So I'd say, all right, Dame, you're going to be upset. I'll see you day 1 in training camp. Have fun. Let's go win a title. And he's got nothing to do but say, okay, coach, I'll be there. That's why this trade, I think, is going to loom so much larger than just where he's going to play and how it impacts probably most likely the Eastern Conference, because that's where most of the teams are located. This is also about now the power dynamic in the league. The players have all the power, and you rarely see a player say, I want out, and not get their way. Now, credit to the Nets. This time last year, Kevin Durant requested a trade. Now, it took till February for that trade to go through, but the Nets are patient. The Nets said, okay, you want to trade? Fine, but we're not going to trade you for pennies on the dollar. We're not giving you away for free because you don't want to be here. They stood their ground, to their credit, held out for the best deal possible. They got a deal they thought they could, do the best with in terms of Phoenix at the trade deadline, and then traded Kevin Durant, even though his trade request came down in July. Just because Dame says he wants to be traded now doesn't mean, one, you have to trade him, and two, doesn't mean you have to trade him to the team he wants to go to. If the Blazers do the right thing here and trade him to the team that best serves them, gives them the best return back, I think it's going to all of a sudden send a message and set a precedent going forward of teams getting a little bit more power back from the players, being a little bit more in charge than they are right now. It's a player-driven league, and even after this trade, and even if the Blazers do what they want to do, it's still a player-driven league. But that gap in power between the players and the teams, it's starting to shrink. It is starting to shrink, and that's why this Dame trade and his future is so important. It expands just beyond him. It also, I think, has an impact on the power structure, the power dynamic between players and the teams, and who is really calling the shots here in the league.